I think you got me. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Is that clipping? I don't think it's clipping. How are we going, legends? Looks a bit loud to me. Oh my fucking god. Shit's tangled up. How are we all? Looks like it's clipping a bit. Let me fix the compression settings. OBS just updated itself, so it's probably going to do all sorts of dumb shit. It does dumb shit without updating itself, let alone, you know, when it updates. All your settings probably go out the window. Mark, you're sick AF. That's not good. What's wrong with you? So this thing, that angle, I think I had an initial look at it a couple of weeks ago. Finally getting back around to it. Bear with me, I've got a bit of hay fever from the wind as well. I'll try and mute myself before I go sniffling. So, this one came in with reports of the power tube monitor bias monitoring circuit showing that one or two of the valves is out. And although I can't get them to play up, they are extremely rattly, as you can hear. So I think I want to change them out anyway. It's not manifesting itself as any output noises, which normally it does when they're that bad. There's almost nothing coming through the mic there. But yeah, I think I'll suggest to the owner that they're the original valves that came out with this thing, and it's what, 90s, mid-90s production. So I think it's, although you can use them as backups if any of the new ones fail, they're pretty rattly, and generally when they're that rattly, they're on the way out. Bit of a pain in the ass to work on this thing because it's upside down. The circuit board, all the components are on the underside, which makes any work, you've got to desolder a bunch of shit, almost as bad as a messer. So therefore you get the additional cost in even basic servicing of doing that. Not my fault, sorry. I didn't manufacture it. I'll knock that one over later today if the customer gets back to me. Alright, so we've got go ahead on this one. I'm just going to get stuck into it today because I've got way too much on my plate. Everyone ringing and asking when things will be done and if they can get stuff, a new job in before the weekend, and it's like, no. Been supposed to be closed for repairs, but everyone stomps their foot and has a little tantrum when you don't take their job. So I tell them I can take it in, but I can't look at it for a few weeks. And they look at me like I just shot their dog. A few weeks? Yes, a few weeks. Well, that's ages. Well, not really. When you've got 100 jobs in the queue, it's actually really fucking quick, if you ask me. There's reports of other local techs taking like a year to turn around an amp, and it's just a basic service or revalve or something. So I don't think that's unreasonable at all to be a couple of weeks before I can even assess your amp, given that I've got about 20 to assess and about 30 to repair before I get to your one. Never be good at anything, champions. Just drive a forklift for a living, eh? No one ever expects anything from you then. You just get to plod along and do whatever you want. And actually have a weekend. You don't like detaching an entire PCB to replace a silver mica that shouldn't have been there. No, I tend not to. And g'day, usual things. Welcome to the membership. I did see you join up at the start of the story, at the start of the chat. Right, so this has got metric on the pots. Yeah. Imperial for the jacks. 1/2 inches. Oh, that was very loose. Loosey-goosey. Hey, you sound and look fine, but the shot camera is blurry. What's new? It's a Panasonic. Haven't had a chance to get a new one because I've been working 14-hour days, so... Sometimes when you zoom in, it goes back to normal. Let's pull it out a bit this way. So it's got like what they call OIS, so optical image stabilization. But you turn it off and it's still on. I really fucking hate when technology tells you you deactivated something, but it's still working in the background. It's lying to you, and it pisses me off because you move it, you frame it, and then it continues to move by itself a little bit, and it throws the frame off. Really frustrating. Let's get it to a natural working position so you can get my gut and crutch cam when I zoom out, because who doesn't love that? It's not Wednesday. I know it's not Wednesday, it's Saturday. Happy Friday. Yes, time zones occur. Every chat I get someone going, it's Friday. Yeah, USA-centric weirdo. So this one came in with reports of noisy reverb, and as always, the customer said, oh, it's just a tube. Just change your tube for me. I'm like, okay, well, I don't think that's the case in the politest way possible. Can be a tube. But on Fender, anything from Fender, the tubes are not the weakest point. It's the shit house caps that they use. The lowest, bottom of the bucket scum that Fender put in their amps. trust me, I wish they used something better, but they refuse to because they hate you as customers. They want all your money and they don't want you to have any. So they want you to keep buying new amps, and if it lasts past the warranty, they're happy, and they don't care if you are. So they keep using crappy components, shitty carbon film resistors that go open circuit and drift, even though they're nowhere near their power rating, and caps that ooze the electrolyte out next to the lead. They'll continue to do this forever. Just like Mesa Boogie, they'll never change their ways. If they haven't by now, that's not going to happen. It's like when you get into a relationship with someone and you think you can change them. No, you can't. So we've just got to deal with it, and we've got to change them and deal with the labour costs. So if you're going to buy a Fender, just factor in another $300 to get it actually good. Not being negative again, champions. I'm just telling it how it is. If you think it's negative, well, that's you reading into what I'm saying. You projecting what you feel onto my statements. So, just telling you how it is, legends. Digital SLR stuff is even more insane. Or at least it used to be in the 2000s before I gave up. What are we talking about? DSLRs not being good. I don't know who even uses a DSLR anymore. Oh, you thought it was Wednesday, bro. That's 2 days off. 1 day is understandable, but 2 days off. That's like mum and dad. They don't know what day it is. Do you, mum? Do you, dad? They're both here. How you going, mum and dad, by the way? Been windy down there too, has it? I thought I saw you mention earlier. Felt I had to subscribe after all the shit I got from you. What did you get from me? Oh, yeah. Just trying. I never know whose name means what. All right, so this is a supposed 68 Princeton. I'm not sure what the circuit differences are to the 64 reissue. Let's pull up a schematic and have a look. This is the first one of this model I've seen. Looks like the same board, has written with texture on the N68 Princeton, so I'm wondering if it's a different like link setup. I don't remember there being this many links on the original board. They could go two-sided PCB, but that would be like 1982 technology. You can't move that fast in the music amplification industry. You know, they had dual-sided PCBs in the 60s, but anyway. Dual-sided through-hole plated would be fantastic, but I think Fender have only done that on their modern stuff, which is disposable for other reasons. Good if they put their high-quality boards on their stuff that wasn't disposable, but I got no idea how they think, or if they think. It's just, again, I don't have a multinational musical instrument company, so who am I to say? I see filter caps. You know it, Joe. Every time, buddy. Yeah, I was going to say through-hole 60s tech. Yeah. Like the fucking computers that I used to tinker with and learn how to solder with in the 90s were through-hole plated. Well, it had to be. They were multi-layer, I think, even back then. Have we got one more screw holding on, or is it just those? No, it's just the little plastic pluggy things. Standoffs. Alright, let's release the Kraken. take the cable ties off, so we've got some relief on those leads. Got enough give there. Yeah, the wiring's just a bit stiff. Got to be a little bit tough lovey with these ones. Alright, so we'll cut off the leads down here. No, actually I should show I've discharged it and everything. I've already touched everything, but anyway, you know. Yeah, look. 0.05 of a volt, wow. Ah, sorry, my bloody nose. Hang on. Bear with me today, legends. It's going to be a bit slow. Hay fever fucks everything up. It's not COVID. I don't know if it was COVID or flu. When I had the COVID, it was pretty much just not as bad as when I had the flu, actually. But that's just an individual thing. Your results may vary. Mum just got over it again. Now for this, I might reduce. Might reduce the first stage bypass cap as well, just to sweeten her up a bit with that tiny cab. I believe it's got a 12-inch speaker on this one, but it sort of doesn't really give you much advantage in such a small cabinet. What have we got in this? Oh no, it's a 10-inch. That's right. Yeah, this is the one from the last live stream where it's got the same speaker as the $500 Marshall. It's got a Celestion 1030 driver. That's pretty bad, man. Like, what's your opinion on having such a budget? That's a $50 speaker. You know, $2,000 amp. What do you think about that, legends? Tell me. God knows, I don't want to be negative, do I? I'll let you guys do it for me and I'll just agree. He's ruining a classic Fender. Whatever. Yeah, so we've had vicious winds overnight. They kicked off at around, I don't know, 1 AM, 2 AM. It sounded like the fucking roof was going to come off the house. And that kept gusting and waking me up. Every time I drift off to sleep, another gust would happen and it'd wake me up again. I finally got back to sleep and then I wake up and it's 5:45. Fuck's sake. Can't win. I might do, what's holding this back? Nothing really, just a spring of those leads. Kind of want to hold it there-ish. Yeah, 65 has a better speaker. What? I think it was a Jensen? I don't know, they seem to just change their mind on a random basis as to what speaker they use when. There seems to be no real rhyme or reason to it. Like, oh yeah, this is special edition Jensen. It's not really, it's just a standard Jensen. So I'm going to try and get through about 10 amps today, because we've had about 2 to 4 devices or instruments coming in a day, and this is while we're supposed to be closed for the rest of the month. But because people have a little tanty when I say no, come back in August. I drove out here especially. It's like, oh, okay, so it's not my responsibility where you live, but anyway, I've been taking stuff in anyway, and although I tell them explicitly, you know, I won't have an answer for you this month because I won't even look at it this month, the phone calls just start within 2 or 3 days of them dropping it off. Selective memory. So, not great for the stress levels. And everyone wants this stuff done before everyone else because everyone's more important than everyone else. It's the me first sort of mentality of 2024. Amazon, you know, I blame Amazon. Everything instantaneous, everything all at once right now. Don't worry about workers' conditions. We don't worry about things like that in late stage capitalism. So I'm just going to do the best I can and just turn the phone off, basically. I can't answer messages on Facebook because Facebook's broken and there's no person to talk to at Facebook, so it just remains broken until someone miraculously fixes it, which will probably like literally never happen. It'll probably just be broken for the remainder of Facebook's existence. So every time someone messages me on Facebook, I have to get out my phone and actually respond to them on that, which is a pain in the ass because typing on a phone is a fucking joke. And apparently the majority of other business page owners are doing that. What they're probably going to do, and this is pretty typical for Facebook, is they'll say, oh, it's broken. Well, is it broken, or can you pay us a monthly fee to make it work better? You know, premium messaging or something. Because they don't have any new ideas, so they just figure out ways to break their existing system and then make you pay for one that's not broken. So basically, they've got their foot in the door with the whole world to the point where it's become an expectation that you have it. So now it's like they're figuring out how to tax you for air. So yeah, even though they make all their money on advertising. So I don't know, do I just ditch Facebook entirely and just can it? Or do I remove messaging on Facebook and then deal with everyone being confused? It's bad enough not having a mobile phone number published. Every day I get people complaining I don't have a public mobile number. Or email address. If I had a public phone number, I'd get spam calls every 5 fucking seconds. If I had a public email address, I wouldn't be able to read any emails because I'd be just scams and spams flooding my inbox, and I wouldn't even be able to sort the signal from the noise. So the only way I'll be contactable in the future is just through the online contact form, which has a anti-bot thing, you know, are you a human kind of deal. Alright, so is this what makes it a 68 custom? I'll have to have a look at the schematic, but I've got a feeling that this is what makes it a 68 custom. One resistor across the fucking tone stack. Really? So what's that going to? That's treble. That's yeah, I'd never pay for any social media either because it's fucking already paid for by the advertisers. That's the whole point. You are the product, not the customer. You are the product. You are what's being sold to the advertiser. And then they try and make you pay for being the product. Fucking hell. Stop using FB. Simply post a link to your website. is just you have to be available in many forums, because these days if people look for you in one place and don't find you there, they don't look anywhere else, because I don't know why. People are just only look at what's in their face these days, so I don't know. Alright, so this has got decent plate load resistors. So here's me shitting on Fender, and they've actually moved to metal oxide. I don't know about metal oxide for plate loads. I probably wouldn't use metal oxides, but assuming they're metal oxides, let's look at the service manual, which I proactively downloaded. I believe I did. Maybe that was the other computer. Princeton Reverb. Where are you, champion? Princeton. 68 print custom. 68 custom. Does this look custom to you? What a fucking wank. Fucking marketing department bullshit. Right. At least one signature is invalid. Fuck off, Adobe. You're another bunch of scumbags. Fucking Adobe. What do we got here? Is that resistor even on the friggin' schematic? Goes from the base. 18K. 18K, yeah. Oh, so it's just... share, hang on. Desk share. So is this all that makes it a 68 custom? R34 18K, that's the one on the back of the PCB. Let's have a look at the 65 reissue and see what the distance. That's the other thing. You click on something, you double click it, and because it's thinking while it's coming up with the preview, you got to like click it a million times for it to open. Piss me off. All right, let's get them to the same size and compare. You fuck off, alright? You fuck off. Signature panel. I don't care. Go away. What's his signature shit? Fuck off. I'm not in a good mood today. Okay, so are you seeing any difference other than that one resistor? Ooh, what's down there? No, that's just notes. On chassis. Yeah, no shit. It's a 5HR4. When you compare two documents like this, you switch back and forth between them, and you can quickly see if there's any differences. And all I'm seeing other than that resistor is just different notes. So let's zoom in and look at the values. Oh, different base, sorry, different mid-value cap. So one different value cap, one added resistor. Okay, that's all we can see there. Let's have a look at the output stage. Try and get it in the same sort of area. Oh, fucking nose is running like a tap. So annoying. Alright, everything there looks the same. No, different value coupler. Okay, so the 68's got a smaller value coupling cap to the output stage. on both sides, inverting and non-inverting. Have a look at the tram. That all looks the same. A few other custom idiocies. Idiocies or idiosyncrasies? That noise way to mix the reverb in the normal channel. Okay. Do stereo 3D model. What? G'day, Jim. No, don't do this. Reverb mix is different. The A18K, usually negative feedback. So negative feedback is different, is it? Got a 5.6K, that doesn't sound familiar. And 2.7K, yeah. So 2.7K is the normal. And you got less negative feedback. Alright, so it should be a bit more lively, a bit more toppy, a bit less bassy. And then what are they doing with the mix? Just try and get everything in scene. Been talking about video too much. Alright, so you got your sound there. Your usual 500 puff resistor. Usual 3.3 meg, 10 puff, 3.3 meg, 10 puff. Alright, so you got 470K there, you got 1 meg on the 68er. G'day Fred, how you going, legend? This does not have a normal channel. It's a Princeton. It's only got one channel, bro. Say a different mix resistor. Same value. Coupling cap. 220K grid leak. 1.5K biasing resistor, 22 mic on the bypass, 100K on the plate load. Alright, so that area of the circuit's the same. What about the drive? 2.2K sounds familiar, yeah. 2.2K. Alright, so the only difference there is the 470K on the stock and the 1 meg on the 68. So what we're talking, reverb mix is different. So are you referring to the 1 meg there being different, Lyle? Because I refer to this as the reverb mix resistor, the 3.3 meg. But I guess, yeah, I mean, that's a mix, yeah. They're both mixed resistors, I guess. You could look at it that way. And that determines changing the value of that to a higher value means you get more reverb, and changing it to lower means you get less reverb. Alright, so there's been no tonality complaints about this amp. I just was curious as to what the differences were, and it's pretty minimal. So they use the same board for both, and when they populate them, they just write, as you can see, they write with Texter. Very high tech. This is a 68 Princeton, as opposed to the unmarked 65. Whatever you think about an amp that looks like this being called a 65, but yeah, whatever. These can be very, very good amps once they're sorted. They don't have the low voltage bullshit that the other Fender stuff has. And it's just got to be delicate with the boards, the circuit, fuck, I can't speak. You just got to be careful with the circuit board traces because they're the lowest quality boards known to man. Thin, single-sided, tiny foil. Like, you can't even feel the traces. When you have a look at one of my boards, you can actually see, like, the 3D thickness of the trace. You got a black solder mask, but you can tell how thick that copper is just looking at the light bouncing off it, you know? It's another project I've got to get finished this month. It's at home. Just went for the chassis, which is custom. Everything custom built on that. Everything built from scratch. Alright, let's get some caps into this bastard. So we've all got 22s all around on this. Righto, that makes life easy. And we don't have to worry about the plate loads on this, because they've upgraded them, which is good. Of course, it's the highest draw that I can't reach. I'll leave this drawer out because we've got another Fender job coming after this. God damn, we go through 22 microfarad axials here. God damn. I have to order some more. Got to do a big valve order again. Starting to get through them. Well, not to impose on you, but if there's any chance that you could post the component measurements of that AA763, I would be interested. I've seen a few without any variation. Are you talking about like resistor drift, usual things? 1 ounce, 2 ounce copper, Ted. I think this is like ½ ounce. I've had 1 ounce boards before for pedals and stuff, and even that looked thicker than the stock Fender foil. Greetings from LA. La La Land. Thick. It's very millennial speak of you there, Ted. She's thick, yo. Of course, the wind's died down now that I'm at work, hasn't it? Now I've fucking woken up at 2 AM. It could be windy now, I wouldn't care, but no. It's only windy at 2 AM. That was a single deluxe you really liked. I'm sure there wasn't much difference, but it was the 60s. So just looking at the old ones here, if the camera wants to play the game. Nope. So can you make out there all the shit coming out on the lead? Probably need it. It looks really good on the on the LCD, but it looks shit on the camera. On the computer, sorry. Looks really good up here. So if you have a look here, what are the chances of this focusing? Slim to none. See all the shit coming out on the lead there? The brown poo oozing out. Why does the contrast look so shit on the screen? And then on the LCD on the camera, it looks awesome. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, it oozes shit out around this area. Crusty crap. That's the electrolyte escaping as it pines for the fjords. You can see that one more, so all it just looks like, don't know, brown schmoo coming out of the leads. That's what you don't want, legends. Sorry, been listening while working. Only real difference on the Deluxe was 16 microfarad on the reservoir mode. 16 microfarad. That's low for the reservoir. Yeah, Ghost Note City, if that's what you're after. 75 YBA. Thanks, mate. Been busy with social work. My YBA and Bogan are both cutting out. Oh, no. I fortunately found a tech nearby. Just mod paddles. So glad I found him. Good stuff. Who was it? That's such a young cap for that. I don't know what the date is. Where's the completion date? 11/7/27. I don't know what that means. Does that mean 2011? Don't know. Don't know how old this one is. The good thing about like Vishay and Nichicon caps is they've got fucking date codes on them, whereas a lot of other brands do not, especially the Axials. Axials are sort of just like a you get what you get kind of deal these days. Fucking piece of shit. You like thanks? You like thanks? G'day, John Williamson. Unfortunately, you're not the country singer who was the reason I started playing guitar for. But, you know, good over you nonetheless. At least I don't think you are. Imagine if John Williamson, the country singer, was watching. I'd fucking lose my shit. True Blue. You guys must have heard that song, yeah? Is it me or you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cock or three? We used to have to sing Australian country music at school, which I thought was fucking fantastic. Now looking back at it, it might have been sort of like a, you know, a nationalistic sort of a little bit brainwashy kind of thing, but but there was conservation songs too, like Rip Rip Wood Chip, about deforestation and stuff. And if you played that to kids these days, the parents would be like, "Oh, you're fucking trying to indoctrinate my kids." It's like, no, it's just the reality of the world. Back then, no one gave a shit, and everyone keeps going, "Oh, you know, let's go back to how things used to be." Well, things used to be. I was singing "Charcoal Annie," a song about like the displacement of Aboriginals peoples. You know, we were singing these songs in school. We were learning about how fucked things were for them. So if you want to go back to how it was in the 80s, that's how it was in the 80s, you know? Charcoal Annie. It's a sad song. Very important stuff, though. Sound of me on four-wheel drive tours seeking for a brekkie beer. Fucking oath. Fucking oath. Usual things. We go on a trip every October long weekend. Used to be June, but we're like, why the fuck do we go in the middle of winter? This is dumb. So we started going in October. We actually did have to sing Tie a Kangaroo Down Sport, but that's before all the rapey stuff, pedo-y stuff came out about him. Yeah, not good. That didn't age well. He certainly tied something down. And he's in jail for it. Sucked in. Well, hang on, he's dead, isn't he? Is he dead? I forget. Who cares? He's a fuckwit anyway. But yeah, that was one of the ones we did have to sing, Richard. Oh, mercy. That and Peter Coombs newspaper, mama. Every day. I actually had that on VHS there for a while as a kid. It was like our weird, creepy kid videos that we used to watch growing up. He's dead. Yeah, good. So yeah, usual things. Where do you go camping, mate? Where do you go on four-wheel drive trips? Where are you? Are you up north or what? We go to the Dewar National Park, which is down south. Ben Dethra. Start off at Araluen pub, have about 1,000 beers, and then, well, you know, the drivers don't have 1,000 beers; they only have about 500. And then we venture into the bush and usually set up camp first at Dry Creek, and cause a lot of chaos. Respectful to the bush, of course, just chaos to each other. Yeah. We see these blokes once a year, so it's a big catch up with all that ensues. Out past Dargo, nice. We used to sing Pete Seeger. Firing up a new build for the first time soon, not a kit build along with Blancow. I've learned tons from you guys. Good stuff, BC Electronics. Good luck with it. Just fire it up carefully. Fire it up with a variac if you can. Fire it up to like 1/10 of your mains with no valves installed. So there'll be negligible load on anything. So you'll be able to just see that your voltages are about 1/10 of what they should be. Don't get too stressed out by it. You won't hurt anything giving it, 11 volts instead of 110, if that's where you are. So yeah, just fire it up. Just check that it's about, what you expect. Give it a little bit more voltage each time. Just be aware that when you've got no load on it with no valves installed, that unless you've got bleeder resistors installed, your caps aren't going to drain. So you might have to manually drain them before you go probing around too much. Kevin Bloody Wilson. Yeah, that plays pretty much every time we go camping. That and Rodney Rood and King Billy Coke bottle, which is somewhat frowned upon these days. I don't want to say much past Snake Bend. Yeah, fair enough. If you go shooting at that, you probably don't want people to know exactly where you are. My soldering is fast, is it? Is that a compliment? I don't know. All right, well, since we don't have to change the plate loads, I'll just put that new bypass cap in there. We'll go for a 4.7er and see how that cleans her up. Tell the customer I'll do a little modification to that, and if they don't like it, we can always go back to the 22. It's not a big issue. A nice V-shape for that one. Fortunately, V-shape low voltage axials are still available. For how long, I don't know. I need to get off my button, drop the CSP exclusive into you for service sometime. No rush, mate, because I shouldn't be taking anything for the rest of the month. People keep shoving shit down my throat, but bring it around later in August if you can. Sticky shit on my cap. What's that all about? From the packaging. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, man. I don't know about streaming today. It's a bit of a fucking joke. Camera doesn't want to focus. My nose doesn't want to stop running. Got about 3 hours sleep. Whinge, 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 whinge. Whinge, 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 whinge. Alright, so we'll fire this up, just test that the output stage is about where I want to see it. I'm not going to bore you with doing the actual measurements and note-taking on stream. I'll just pump these out, and then once I've finished, I'll go through and do the documentation and stuff afterwards, because it's not really fun to stare at someone who's staring at a computer screen and frowning and looking at notes that I can't show on screen. I'll just give the pots a quick clean. Could be an airline or a bank. Yeah, is this the outage? I've got no problems with Windows here. I don't know. I think it's whoever's used that. What is it? What was it called? Like Cloud Strike or something? They sounded like a fucking hacker group. It's ironic that you use a security company to make your network more secure, and then they're the one that ends up being the weak spot. We do take cash here at Brad's Guitar Garage, so even if the FPOS goes down, I can still take cash. Go straight into the whiskey fund for when dry July's over. I've been really slack with my dry July reviews, but what's the point? Because I lose about 3 subscribers every time I post one and don't get any donations, so... Yeah, I actually used to get them really bad in school, Eric, and hay fever, that is. And the teachers assumed I was stoned all the time. So I'll get in trouble and get sent to the principal's office because they think I was stoned when I just had hay fever. So you had the double strike. Well, already had the social anxiety of being at a high school and everything that entails. Bullying. And, you know, trying to fit in and be cool. And then your nose is bright red and your nose is constantly running and you're sniffing all the time. And then add all that on top of the teachers suspecting that you're a stoner and sending you to stand outside the principal's office even though you've done nothing wrong for 6 hours until they felt like talking to you. It was pretty much child abuse at that school. It was fucked. When I hit senior high, it changed, but that was like year 10. They really didn't like me, and I didn't like them. Really, really, really didn't want to go to school a lot of times. Because if you weren't copping it from the bullies, you were copping it from the fucking teachers, and all you were trying to do was survive. But you get the few teachers that are good, and you remember them for the rest of your life. And if I see them today at a pub, I shout them a fucking beer because they're legends. And you see the shit cunts, and you wouldn't break for them at traffic. It's alright, most of the shithead teachers are dead now anyway because they were stressed out fuckwits that hated life. So, you know, they're all dead now, so whatever. All the good teachers were happy people, and they're all still thriving. As is often the case in life. Oh, for fuck's sake. Has anyone built a StewMac amp kit? I haven't, but I've looked at the parts closely and they look pretty good quality there, Kimball. I probably wouldn't hesitate to buy one other than the fact that I think a lot of the StewMac stuff is overpriced. What you want to do with StewMac is start an account and get discounts on a lot of stuff that you wouldn't otherwise. And also, if you can, so start a trade account, I mean. And a couple of other things like, if you are ordering little bits and pieces off them quite often, it makes sense for me because I'm in Australia to join the StewMax membership. It's like $150 a year, and they don't charge you for shipping for anything. Not even a price limit. I can order one screw, And 1250 for a kit amp. Fuck, is it? That's including the box and everything, though, isn't it, Ted? So that's not a bad deal, really. Let's think about it this way: you've got an amp where all the annoying shit like the cabinet is already built that you'd need like a wood shop for, and a lot of skill. But then you get to make sure that it's wired how you like it. So 1250 for an amp that's well built and you can sort of be confident that the guts are well built too. That's pretty good. 1250. That's American, I know. So that's like $2,000 over here. But $2,000 for a kit for an amp that is basically an heirloom amp, Ted, I think is pretty fucking good actually. And you get the satisfaction of building it yourselves. Can't speak, sorry. Any good kit amps you would recommend? Lyle might be able to chime in on this. He's got a Mojo Tone thing that he's talked about on stream. I'm not sure if he's even opened the boxes yet, but he could probably comment on the quality. I dare say he's had a little gander inside the box and checked out the components and the quality. So he could probably let you know about the Mojo Tone stuff. I don't have a Mojo Tone account yet because I haven't really needed them for anything, but one day I'll probably need something that only they sell, and I'll get one. But you know, you buy a kit amp and build it yourself. It's better than going to Lazy J and paying $4,000 and getting a kit amp anyway that's badly built. So you know, you're winning on top of them. I've never met a happy Lazy J owner. They've all been angry people. So you know, take from that what you will. They all fucking want me dead. That's for sure. Oh, imagine how childish you'd have to be to hate the reviewer, not the fucking thing you're reviewing. Interview 12, me and my friends have put on a very offensive sticker and spray clear coat over it, but that was 2008. Mojo Tone kits are good, not always the best instructions. I've never used one as I want things to be different. Yeah. Ooh, a T18 and Mojo Tone kits are up to 1800. Really? Kimball, is that Australian or is that... That's not American dollars, is it? Dan from that pedal show raves about his JJ amp. Yeah, but he's paid to rave about it, so who gives a fuck what he thinks? Anyway, he's got the JJ10. That doesn't have the issues of the 20. You got to stop paying attention to reviewers, champions. They're not telling the truth, all right? They've got vested interests. Plus, you don't know if they've had things repaired before. They wouldn't disclose that. $1,800 US or AU. Anyway, what are you doing trusting pedal guys? Come on. Joking. I don't know anything about that pedal show. I don't watch it. I don't have time to watch YouTube. And when I do watch YouTube, I'm usually not watching anything to do with amps unless it's Lyle or Frank. Just because I like their personalities. StewMac are good for the StewMacs. And they've been doing the Vox AC30 valve sets for £60. That's pretty good. They're often cheaper for WGS, even with the large 8-pound item supplement. Last time I ordered some WGS drivers off them, they didn't charge me for the oversized shipping. Lyle holds Tyler amps in high regard. No, he does not. Yeah, I did joke with you on Facebook about not watching new videos, Lyle. I hope you didn't take that the wrong way. You know I'm rarely serious about anything at all. Go search out the thrifty Plexi amp builds. Thrifty. I mean, another option is just get a bashed up reissue and do what you want with it. Or find someone else's kit build that's a bit shit and they probably can't sell it for much, so buy that and then just rip the board out and do your own board. I never take any Australians seriously, no. Well, we never take any Americans seriously, so it works out well. What's a good AL84? Just bought some Polums? What? From a Ukraine seller. I'd suggest against buying anything from eBay. I'm assuming you bought it from one of those Ukrainian eBay sellers that sells all the weird 6Ns, 6Cs and stuff. Dave, how you going, fella? What's happening? Just finished your Dirty Shirley over there. Did a little bit of voicing changes. Not my taste, but the customer wanted a bit more bite on it, Dave. So I hope you don't mind, but I chucked an extra bright cap in there because he wanted that really over the top, you know, Kerrang bite out of it. Now, I gave him the old part so he can put it back to stock if he wants. I was going to put a note in there saying this has been slightly modified this way, but there's no reliable way of sticking that inside an amp. I don't like putting stickers in amps. So I think that customer's got it for life, so if he ever wants it shifted or changed back, we can do that. But yeah, I hope you don't mind me slightly revoicing your amp for the customer's tastes. I felt a little bit not quite right about that, because you definitely know what you're doing more than I do, buddy. I did go and watch the Jake E. Lee episode on everyone's recommendation, and that was a pretty cool stream, wasn't it? Was it a stream? I think it might have been pre-recorded. No, it was a stream, because Mark kept going, you guys are right. Good times. Brad's new favourite subreddit, Dead Bug Ass Circle Jerker Point to Point. Oh, fuck yeah. Don't get me started on the point-to-point pedal builders, man. They just get so much praise. It's like, oh, you built a fucking high school project. Great. Do you want to, like, maybe be professional a little bit, maybe, sometime in your future? They get so much praise. Oh, it looks so pretty. Yeah, to a layman, it does look pretty. To a tech, it's a fucking nightmare. Cleaning the faceplate. Silverface. So we're still allowed to say silverface. There's, you know, you see the people saying, oh, I shouldn't say blackface, shouldn't say brown face, whatever. It's an amp. Don't worry about it. We know what we're talking about. We're grown-ups. And anyway, saying silverface might be like offensive to robots. So maybe we shouldn't say silverface either. What would Bender have to say about that? Okay, well, I've only got one. Oh, no, there's the other washer. Rightio. So just for anyone that's come in, I'm just ripping through some repairs. We've got, God, at last count we had 100. Generally, you hover around 100 jobs in the queue at any given time at the moment. Yeah, so people are like, oh, I'll come in when it calms down. I'm like, it never calms down. I'm sorry. There's always 100 jobs in the queue. And some of them are like an hour, and some of them are like a day. So some of them are multiple days if I can't figure them out. I just did a, because in Australia here, our market's a bit more rarefied. I can't just rely on being selective and only taking vintage stuff that's like, just trying to think how to explain it. So if I just took amps that were known factors and established schematics and systems that are familiar with me, I'd do about one job a month. So I'm forced to think on my feet and take in stuff I'm not up to speed on. Otherwise, I'd have no work. Now, that's become my reputation here. I'll tackle pretty much anything, which can be a bit detrimental to time management and plans. So sometimes you put something on the bench and you've got no idea how long it's going to take. And if something's completely dead, you've got to do a bit of work to get it to the point where you can even figure out what's wrong with it. So, for example, I just had a Technics. I think I've got the SD card in there. I'll just show you a hand. Just did a Technics SL120 turntable. Now that was the precursor. That was like the basically an SL1200 without a tone arm. Excuse my sniffing for anyone that's come in. I've got hay fever. We've had extremely strong winds overnight, and all the dust and stuff has picked up and triggered my hay fever. So I'm a sniffly little boy. So yeah, Technics. I had to figure out. So first, the caps were bulgy. So I didn't really trust anything until we sorted that out. But then I knew, as is often the case, that once that was sorted, there'd probably be other issues. Now, this was brought in solely as inconsistent speed issue, and the Q arm sometimes being a bit stiff. Lucky Q arm. There we go. There she is. Excuse me. Sorry, got to mute myself. So once I recapped it, we still had no motor rotation, but it needed a recap because the caps were physically leaking. So we had to do that first, and there was about an hour's labour in getting into it, getting the documentation. And for some reason, the documentation on this particular one was very hard to find. Later on, I found out that's because the SL120 was the consumer version of the SL1200 Mark 1. The SL1200 Mark 1 came with a tone arm installed. The SL120 came with, basically it got sold by Panasonic or Technics as like with no tone arm, and you got to choose your own tone arm. Usually the dealers would install a tone arm, they'd sell it to you as a combo. This particular one had an SME 3009, which is a very nice tone arm, but it was very badly adjusted. But there was no deck rotation, so that wasn't a reported fault on this. And sometimes you got to be a little bit, is the customer trying to get this for free because they just didn't disclose that there was an issue with it? But luckily I turned it on in front of them and showed that there was zero rotation of the deck. Big problem, obviously, because that's how record players work. So then I had to find this schematic. Because I was searching for SL120, I hit brick walls everywhere. And then I found out later on, through more research, that the SL1200 and the SL120 were basically the same model, and they shared the same board, which is unique to the SL1200 Mark 1 and the SL120. SL1200 Mark 2 and beyond were quartz locked and had a completely different control circuitry, whereas this is just servo locked and adjustable speed via these pots and those two trim pots, which are in series with these pots, and set the range of these two user accessible pots down here. Eventually, I figured out the circuit, which is a series of oscillators, and it's actually pretty smart how it works. It basically it like sort of phase matches the drive signal with the return signal, and when they don't match, it gives it more drive or less drive to match the speed until it syncs up with the original oscillated waveform, which is actually really smart, and it was very educational doing the job. This job took about 4 hours to research, do the work, figure out how the circuit works, stare at it for a bit, do more research, stare at it, have a coffee, stare at it, frown at it. Frowning at it is really what got me there in the end, as is often the case. You really figure shit out when you frown at it, eh? Like, if you just stare at it, you don't figure shit out. It's when you start frowning at it, that's when you figure stuff out. So once I started frowning at it, I figured out how the circuit worked roughly, and found out that TR9, which was a bipolar transistor, two 2S 2SC828 from memory, but that was replaceable with a BC547 generic NPN thing. But the pin out was different, so I had to rotate it like 60 degrees or whatever, and just put the pins where they go. And once I did that, it came back to life, and then we went through and did the usual servicing, and she was solid gold after that. But there's the circuit. This is before I did any work to it. You see that cap's pushing its plug out, and these were starting to leak onto the board. It's got the old school dual rectifier, dual diode packages there. That's how a lot of the hi-fi stuff used to be done. Really good soldering, actually. Everything's passed through the eyelet. Nice quality wire. Nothing broke. Even pushing. Oh, that's a preamp removal on a board. I got to plug them with some mahogany plugs when I get home. Oh yeah, that's some. You'll get a laugh out of this, Dave. I ordered some 3.3 meg reverb mix resistors, but I still had the criteria set to 1 watt. And you think about the kind of voltage you need across a resistor that's 3.3 meg to be able to produce 1 watt of power. Yeah, that's a lot of volts. So they're 10k rated resistors. Whoops, they're still only $1 something each, but world's biggest reverb mix resistors. Whoops. So I'll order some proper ones of them when I get a minute. But they would be very low noise. Metal film, 1 watt, 3.3 meg. So there she is spinning with a calibration disc on top. Oh, overexposed. And then it's back together there. That's setting up the cartridge alignment. That's the protractor. Basically, because you think about it, it's an arc. You want the center, the apex of the arc to be in between the two endpoints. So you want it to be as close to parallel to the radial, right? I don't know. Anyway, you want it to be as parallel to that line as possible at those 2 points. So to achieve that, because there's no adjustment here to move the cartridge in and out, I had to move the whole tone arm, but that's how this tone arm was built. And that's her running away. And then after that, had to replace a board on a Yamaha subwoofer. Big bastard, professional PA sub. 1 second. All right. So I had to change board on this because it went bang in a big way. You can see this is the first sign. You got vaporized metal condensed on the cap there. And you got these two, what's that? 2 diodes, D135 and D136 and 135 have blown their tops. So probably loss of rectification. So probably started with a shorted bridge rack because that was shorted. Then it took out resistors here, shorted other stuff. You can see evidence of the nearby MOSFET having blown apart. That was pretty cool. One of my colleagues saw this photo and said he actually had a customer that tried to glue a MOSFET back together. I glued it back together, but it still didn't work. It's like, really? Didn't it? That's crazy. That's the shit stain it left on the chassis. And the new module, because Yamaha are fantastic with parts. It was here in a couple of days. Also had to get the new heat transfer pad, the silicon transfer pad. I didn't want to reuse those because you can see the impressions. So they're kind of a one-use basis sort of thing, but they're a couple of bucks each. I got a new set of them. And that's the new sub, pumping out way too much power for my little shop. This is the next one I have to throw a dart at. I've got to go through and check everything for drift. The builder had to go at... the customer, sorry. the customer had to go at restoring this one themselves, but brought it to me for final power up, and I said, it just needs a lot of work still. You had that almost touching the chassis, and that's the screen dropper. Yeah. It's not too bad, the work, but I don't know about having my name on this one. I kind of want to redo a lot of stuff. It's a 60s 60s JMI Vox. I want it to be as good as it can be, but budget, bros, budget. Oh, there's me accidentally taking video when I meant to take a photo. There's so many 3-second videos on my on my camera from me thinking I'm in photo mode when I go to take a photo, and it takes a 3-second video. Sorry, legends. This is getting a bit tedious with the old stuffy nose. So anyway, that was the stuff I had to tackle yesterday. And then I also had some tannoy monitors come in, which had the conductive glue problem, so they had to be fully taken apart. And they were one of the stupidest construction methods I've ever seen. Like folded bits of metal that were working as like heat pipes and all sorts of dumb shit on that thing. And then I got 2 of them, which the owner really loves, so he wants them restored. But tried to sell him on a set of new Cali audios, but he had to have those restored. So I have to go through and figure out what parts are corroded from the glue and what needs replacing, and it's slightly different on each one because they're not very precise about where they've placed the glue. So, you know, I've got to take those kind of jobs because that's the local market. If it was all just, you know, vintage fenders and that, I think life would be a lot easier because it's all known factors. But nothing here is a known factor, and a lot of it requires research. There's too many products out there to be able to have them all on the top of my head, and some of them I can't even get documentation on, so it can be a bit tricky being in Australia, having to deal with that stuff. I'm not whinging, I'm just telling you how it is. Just giving you the finger up the bum on the local market, you know? Save some time, those airy CCs drift like leaves, yeah. There's so many of them though, bro. What do I do? I've already checked the plate loads and some of them are like 50% out. And he's already melted a bit of wire. The heater wiring to the EL84s kind of needs to be replaced because it's really crispy. It's actually bubbled at the end, which means something's probably run away at one point. There is evidence of fire having taken place in that chassis at some point, and it looks like the original wiring, so that's not a hell of a lot of fun either. Oh, I'm really starting to feel like shit. I might cut this off early. I'll see how we go. Why just not open today, eh? What do I do? I don't fucking know. God forbid I have a Saturday off. I wouldn't be off, I'd just be at home doing paperwork, sitting by the fire. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I had to repair my clothes dryer yesterday. Thank God it's an old, cheap, no electronics, timing motor cams and centrifugal switch Whirlpool. Wow. It was 37C raining and over 60% humidity. Nice. That's beer drinking weather. And my eyes have started watering. Ugh. You know what I'm blaming it on? Dry July. I never get sick when I drink whiskey. God damn it. A big meal and a nap. I'm not sick, Ted. It's hay fever. It's different. The thing that pisses me off about hay fever is everyone thinks you're sick and they, I want to keep the distance. It gives you that whole awkward thing. Plus, add COVID to the mix, being winter here. Everyone thinks you got fucking COVID when it's just hay fever, and it's just awkward socially. I'd rather just not be anywhere in public. Well, that's the same for any given time, but you know. Get some pills. No pills work. I've tried them all, Chris, but thank you anyway. I've tried them all. I've had this since I was a kid. Haven't had it for probably a good, I don't know, 12 months, 8 months. Oh, fucking hell. It's just debilitating, eh? Every 5 seconds you're sneezing. It used to piss me off when I worked in an office, doing joinery set out. It was the presenteeism, which is always the way. Everyone's a fucking hero in the corporate world. Oh, look how tough I am, boss. I came in even though I'm sick. Now the whole office is going to get sick, and I'm going to destroy your production. But how good am I, boss? Because I came in when I was sick. I'm so tough. Get your tongue out of my ass. So every time one of those fuckwits came into the office, the whole office would end up sick, and production would go through the floor because everyone was having time off and whatever, or because some dickhead came in thinking they were tough to show off to the boss like a brown tongue. Alright, I think we're good to fire it up. Just check I haven't done anything stupid. It's already got backup diodes on the rectifier, so that's good. It's a combo, so I'm probably not super keen to put flyback diodes in there. Oh, fuck's sake. Today was really going to be my catch-up day, but that's out the fucking window now, isn't it? Just grab a reverb tank. Have you ever met Anthony behind Harvester Guitars? Nope. Fellow Aussie, but I'm not sure how far apart y'all are. Where is he, do you know? $220K. Just check resistance on that. Should be about 1 ohm. 1.5, yep. Look at that. You punch penny boy. What do you tell a camera that's got 2 black eyes? I seem to build immunity to brands or types, and I switch over to the other side, and it seems to help at least. Sucks balls, though, I feel for you. I'll sneeze 30 times straight on the tube. Yeah. It's just, your whole head's itchy. It's like, the sneezing's one thing, the running nose is another, but you feel like you're going to sneeze all the time, constantly. So you can't concentrate on anything. Richard, how's Six getting on? Not great. He had the funeral yesterday. So he said he was going to go get fucking shit-faced, and I don't blame him. So I reckon he'd be not feeling very good today in more ways than one. Fucking bullshit what happened here. That family pisses me off. Alright, let's get a couple of meters on this thing and just check that nothing's running away. There's a convenient spot. Nowhere really. Need some extra long throw, like IC grabbers or something. Just push those plate pins out a little. You just lost your mother, Jay. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. It's turned into a bit of a depressing stream, isn't it? That's life. You can take the good with the bad, whatever. Battle on. You get the characteristic pop out of the speaker, which means we're on the right leads. 130. Oh, that's nice balance. 138 ohms per side. Ah, fuck, if it keeps going like this, I'll say fuck dry July and have a whiskey. What are we at now? 20 days without any alcohol. That's quite a bit for an Australian. So we may as well take some measurements while we're here and write them down. Single power ball. It's funny, the angle Powerball is a lottery over here. I don't know about over there. Princeton. 68 custom. Alright, we've got 138 ohms per side. VAK something or other. Go in, we'll raw dog it. Just assume we've got everything right, because that's what Dad does. That's what fuses are for, eh? Speaking of fuses, let's check that one. 1.2 amp, sounds about right. It certainly is. Bang! 50 watts, 40 watts, 37 watts, 35 watts. Sinking down to 33 watts and starting to come up. Oh, fuck. Let's switch that over to voltage first, eh? Switch the third meter on voltage. Check the B plus 478. That's up there. Alright, we don't have conduction on one side. Is that just my lead? No. No conduction on one side. The plot thickens. Why is that? We've got plate voltage. Do we have an open screen grid? $463. $463. I think it's my meter playing up. No. Fucked valve. Really? Awesome. Well. Swap those valves over. Fucking bear traps are holding on tight. The one time you don't want them to. Yeah, that valve's stone cold. So, came in for hum in the reverb return. And now, having not even touched anything in that area, one of the valves is dead. See what I'm saying about the non-reported stuff? But I tested this and it sounded okay. So a valve has failed like in the last week without having been turned on, really? Stranger fucking things have happened, I'll tell you what. But I've already quoted this, so I'm not giving them a free valve though. That never happens. I don't give anything for free. Yeah, the one on the left's not conducting at all. You want to see what an amp sounds like with one valve running? Not great. Alright, so one dead valve. Listen to this, champions. You're in for a treat. Ah, for fuck's sake. Oops, sorry, hang on. Yeah, I won't do that for long, but not much output. It sounded pretty gross. Alright, regroup. There's every chance that sounded probably acceptable to a lot of people. It produced signal. Pretty dirty sounding, horrible signal, but it still produced a signal. So there's every chance that maybe I didn't pick that up when I first tested it, because the main reported issue was noise in the reverb. So that one's the cold as a crab one. Tongue sole. The fuck? Some fluid on it. Probably my own snot. Isn't that lovely? So one dead tongue sole. I'll put some tape on that. No conduction. Change out its mate too. That one's still good for a champ or something. And grab some replacements. The beauty of doing the video is if there's ever a dispute with the customer, I can just say, go to this live stream, fast forward the 45 minutes of swearing and whinging, and you'll see where I showed the fault with your amp. Fuck, I could get more 6v6s too. Fuck. Oh, this is fucked. I'm going home. This is bullshit. Alright, Dave, you still there? Senor Freeman. I want to know who you're using for 6v6s these days, because I need to reorder. You're our guinea pig. Who better to ask for advice on what valves to buy than someone who is producing thousands of amps a year? What are you using these days, Davo? It's not so bad. Good on you, Lyle. You're always there for the comedic relief. I've run out of tissues. And now it's just going to be gross. In combos, there is new JJ. Oh, using the double mica, Dave? Have you tried them out? I think, didn't you get some too, Lyle? I haven't heard back yet as to how they went. So these were some I tried out from Tube Amp Doctor. They're rebadged Russian 6Ps. I'm a bit off Tube Amp Doctor though, to be honest. Tested? Yeah, well, if they're tested, why do you keep giving me 6L6s that fucking fail straight out of the starting gate? You haven't tested fuck all, so don't tell me that you have. So I'm a bit off Tube Amp Doctor at the moment because I think they're lying to us. Stuff could have happened in transit, but I'm hearing off everyone all over that the 6L6 GCW slash dash STRs, whatever the fuck all that means, the short bottle 6L6s anyway, they're all failing. And it's embarrassing. It's fucking annoying because you get blamed for it. Bad issues with the tatties. Yeah, fuck Tube Amp Doctor. CE don't match fuck all. Awesome. Damn, sending bad tubes, not good. No, everyone sends everyone bad tubes, Joe. It's 2024. Electro Harmonic 6v6 isn't that bad. Yeah, I used to use them too, and then we had the issues with the Russian bullshit. So the price went through the roof, or they were just unavailable. But I don't know how they've done it. Someone's just gone through some back alley and they've come in anyway. So what's the fucking point of sanctions if we're still buying shit off them? I don't know, mate. I don't know. Fuck. It's hard enough to survive in this industry how it is, let alone worrying about world bloody economic politic bullshit. Tube Depot's been good, yeah, but the pricing's not good enough. If I'm buying stuff near retail rate, what happens if it fails and I've got to ship shit back? And like, I need to have baked into the price a margin to deal with the bullshit that you have to deal with valves in general, no matter who you're buying from. So I've got to have discounts for bulk quantities, and they need to be trade rates. I can't be paying retail because the customer sees, oh, $100 for a pair of valves. I could have paid that. It's like, I could have got a better price than that. Yeah, you probably could have, and you can return them if there's a problem, and you can bias them, and you can deal with return shipping. And STR tubes are all 100% marketing bullshit now. What is STR? I don't even know what STR means. When Sylvania made tubes, STR tubes spent an extra 60 minutes under heat and vacuum on the carousel, and they all got tested. I've just stopped paying attention to all the suffixes with valves. It's all just marketing crap. So I just look at the first. Is it G or is it GT? Probably want to plug a speaker in. Probably want to wipe my nose again. Special tube request. Yeah, can I request some that work? Is that what STR means? Essentially, it all comes back to I've got to get in touch with Peter Toms and get myself a maxi matcher. So then if they turn up with issues, I can shove them right up their ass while it's in warranty period. Alright, what's going to happen now? Are we going to have a short? Are we going to have an arc? Who knows with 6v6s these days? They're going to conduct it all? Yep. They're going to be way too hot. I've got noises in the reverb send. Is that V1? Or is it V2 causing it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, for some weird reason, we've got an ECC82 in the reverb drive, which is probably the cause of the problem. So yeah, someone thinks that if it says ECC, you can just throw anything in there. I've got some ticking from the trem there as well. We'll sort that out next. Sorry, I can't speak because my mouth is full of snot. Let's try that again. .7. Drawing 60 watts from the mains. Alright, so let's calculate the bias. What are we at? 2.4 divided by 138. 17.4 milliamps multiplied by plate cathode of 470 volts. That's a spicy meatball. 470 volts. Yeah, okay. 470. So that's 8 watts divided by 12. So that's running at 70%. But fucking hell, 470 volts. 470 volts on a 6v6. Alright, so this is coming straight from the fender mouth hole. 445 volts on the test point. But yeah, it's over that, so is it meant for 230 volts? 240 volts, it says. What's the actual schematic say for the international transformer? .240 volt wiring. Different model transformer. So that is a ends in 000. Ends in 0001. 75165. 75165. Yeah, 230 or 240. Well, which one is it? So they just give you a 230 volt. So what's the heater voltage at? Don't buy Fender, champions. Just don't buy a Fender. Don't let mates buy Fenders. They're a fucking joke. 6.6 volts. So a little bit higher, but yeah, 470 something. But even if it was running in the standard voltages, 445's too high. Awesome. So there's probably like a handful of valves existing in the world that will be reliable in this amp now. And my nose is running again. I think I'm going to end it, champions. I'm just going to go home. Fuck this. Let's give it a quick play. Sounds better. Sounds a lot better. Sorry, champions. The VU meter on OBS is fucking stupid. It says minus 15 dB, and it was clipping like fuck. I don't know. Something's changed in OBS now, and now minus 15 dB is where it clips. Fucked if I know. I'll turn the gain down and try again. So, I don't know. Is that a success? Sure, whatever. This is crazy. I'm going to call it here, champions, because I can't even speak for a sentence without my nose running and my eyes watering. So I'm going to go. I'm going to take measurements on this one, tell the customer to sell it, because it runs 6v6s at 460 something volts, 70 something volts, which is fucking stupid. No matter which way you play it. 472 volts. And what are we sitting at on the mains today? We're only at 241 volts. So if you've got like 245, 250 volts, which is common, it's going to be like it's going to be over the rating of the fucking caps. So I'd advise you to get rid of it, because Marshall are a joke too, but because Fender are a joke, a bad joke. There's no punchline. But either way, that's working again. I'm going to see if Michelle can cover for me, but I don't think she can because she's got netball, so there's going to be lots of upset people today, confused, ringing me going, I thought you were open on Saturdays, I thought you were open on Saturdays, I thought you were open on Saturdays, I thought you were open on Saturdays. I'll have to answer that phone call about 12 times today, that'll be fun. Or I'll just be open and be a miserable fuckwit. Not sure. If I do go home, I'll just go and work on my Marshall TSL board layout. Ah, man. So yeah, that I didn't quote for a new set of valves, partially because I was getting, I often get hounded for quotes. So you sort of cut corners. Oh yeah, it'll be this much, and then they hold you to that. So I should just ignore all the correspondence until the quote's ready. Make more sense, wouldn't it? So I'll leave it here, champions. Thanks for that, Richard, and thanks for everyone else that donated too. I think I missed a few. Thanks, Dad, for joining up again. Small. Oh, hang on. What was that? Large one-shot cappuccino, plus extra shot cappuccino. And thanks, Eric, for the $10. Get something hot and spicy for lunch and clean that nose right out. I think it's a bit beyond that, mate, but yeah, I'll try. I'm starting to get a headache too, which is common. Anyway, I'll piss off. You don't want to see my miserable ass sniffing and snorting all morning, so go and do something more enjoyable and enjoy things. Oh, you're going to pop in, Ryan? Good to see you, mate. I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Yeah, I am pretty cooked, man. It's just hay fever, but it's, yeah, hay fever's not just hay fever. The TV shows selling the fucking hay fever drugs are all like, oh, yeah, sniffly nose. It's not sniffly nose, it's debilitating. You can't see. Like, everything's blurry because my eyes are constantly watering. Anyway, I'm in no condition to work on high voltage shit because I'll probably drip snot in it. So I'll leave it here, legends. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to go home. I'm just going to shut the shop, put a notice up that I'm sick. See you on Monday. Take it easy, legends.